All right.
Welcome another guest, Ed Reynolds.
Mr. Reynolds, thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Hello, sir.
Pleasure to be here.
All right, so Ed, we've been just moving over to the Patriots pages in the Total Patriots book. We're gonna see Ed, Dirty, and Captain. Can you tell us how you got those nicknames?
Well, I was in the military the same time I played when I was here, and so my rank was a captain. I got promoted on the field, actually, in a preseason game. So that they always called me captain for my soldiering, and then Dirty was because my first year I used to hit people a lot of times on the other teams, and so they ended up giving me the nickname Dirty.
So we talked to Wild Man Larry Eisenhower a little about this too, but the way the game's quote protecting players has changed, the game's safety. Obviously, you were dirty. That's what they called you at least. Where do you see that going?
Well, it's done for a reason because there's so much money. You know, players are paid a tremendous amount of money, and you can't let somebody just take shots at your quarterback. So the quarterback deserves being protected as much as possible, because you think if you lose your starting quarterback, I mean, what happens if the Patriots lose Tom Brady?
We don't want to think about that.
No. So it's like that with anybody that has a quarterback. It's only of that quality. So everything evolves, and hopefully it's for the best and gets better. I mean, generations are different.
Oh, we have.
Yeah.
Ed, I asked Wild Man this also. I just wanted to get your opinion on the Washington Redskins name controversy.
All right, I have 6 to you.
Well,
6 to you.
I find it kind of interesting because for all this time that's been going on, I mean, it didn't really pick up steam but the last couple of years. And largely because it picks up steam when they're losing.
600. Anybody else want to go?
You know, you think about the Joe Gibbs years where they won 3 Super Bowls on 3 different quarterbacks, and they were vastly successful for 10 years, and it was no such thing as everybody talking about the Redskins. I don't think the term was, you know, it's Redskins peanuts.
Yeah.
Have you ever had them? We used to have them in the South all the time called Redskin peanuts. They have little skins on them. So I don't think the name was ever used for a derogatory term against the Native Americans. And if you ever, of all the derogatory things you've heard, different names from different ethnic groups, have you ever heard anybody use a redskin as a dirty term against a Native American?
Got to be honest, never heard that one on the schoolyard before at all. Yeah.
And, Ed Reynolds, you had a great career from '83 to '91, 119 regular season games. What would you say is one of your greatest memories during your career with the Patriots?
One of the greatest memories is a couple times we had some great games. We had to go play San Francisco right after the earthquake, and we had to move the game to Stanford Stadium, and we had to go play, and we lost right at the end. But it was just getting to play against them and had a great game. Playing against Dan Marino and Jim Kelly. I mean, we had one of the 1983 draft was the greatest draft class in the history of the NFL. So I was to be a part of that. I mean, I wasn't drafted; I was a free agent, but that's amazing. I was a free agent, played 11 years in that same draft. So it tells you how that draft was.
Going on the players you were drafted with, and even other players, was there a particular player that you bonded with on the field, off the field, you really enjoyed playing with?
Well, Johnny Rimbert was one of my best friends here. We came here together. We played against each other in college. So we lived together. So he was one of we were just still to this day very close. And we played inside linebacker together. And he actually helped, him and Steve Nelson actually taught me the position, because I came here as an outside. In my second year, I moved to inside.
Right. So when you made that transition, what went into making that transition, and was it difficult?
It wasn't that difficult because, number one, you had 2 excellent teachers in Johnny and Nelly, and then we had a great coach in Rod Russ, and then you just put the work in, and that's all it takes.
So, let me get the stats real quick. I asked this to Larry also. Commissioner Goodell, 37% of fans say Commissioner Goodell should be fired. What is your opinion on how Goodell handled everything and where you see his future?
Well, I don't see any reason why Roger Goodell should leave. I think he's done a great job for the sport. I think players and organizations have benefited tremendously with the TV contracts. Yep. I think from the situation, it's unfortunate how it is unwoven, but I would say for sure that the commissioner did not see any part of that tape.
Right.
I think that will come out at the end report. And I also believe that because of the emphasis that has been brought to this very sensitive topic, but a topic that needs to be talked about in domestic violence, is actually going to help in the overall big picture things.
Yeah, that certainly could be the case. And you mentioned earlier that player safety in terms of injuries and concussions, you weren't necessarily against the increasing regulations for player safety, things like that. Obviously, football is rising in popularity all the time. Sport is almost intoxicating the atmosphere. How do you see, Pop Warner football and all that working with player safety to sort of get kids to play football, but in a safe way?
Well, the thing that they've done is pretty impressive right now that the league offers is the Heads Up program with USA Football. Yeah. But outside of that, as the younger you are, your body's in a position where it doesn't. If you ever go watch Pop Warner and the kids grab each other and they kind of fall all over them, they're so flexible. It's very difficult for them to get hurt. You don't see kids getting seriously injured. I mean, mainly from trying to carry the equipment. But as you get older, and the way that the game is getting faster with the cleats you wear now, with the stuff you play on, the field turf. So what they're doing with the Heads Up program is to protect everybody. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's a violent sport with a lot of collisions, and there's going to always be some kind of pain involved in it. But you just keep teaching and training and teaching and training, and through that process, you become safer.
All right, and we talked about how the NFL has changed over the past few years, especially today. Is there anyone in the NFL right now that you really enjoy watching play the game?
Well, there's a number of people. I mean, you can't help but love watching Tom Brady quarterback. You think about it, the problem I think right now is not having a true deep receiver for him. But just watching how he works with what he has, it's amazing. He goes out at watching Peyton Manning play, watching some of the defensive guys like the Willis kid out at San Francisco, watching some of the defensive. Vince Wolf still can't be moved. What is it, 14 years now? And his technique is flawless in how he plays, and that's impressive, So I like watching different parts of the game now. You like watching the strategy of it all. You like watching certain coaches go against each other, and the matchups that go accordingly.
In terms of technique, as you mentioned, have you seen technique evolve or change at all from when you played and to when you're watching the game now at your position?
Well, I think we were a little bit technically sounder, I think, overall, because you had to be, because a lot of the things that we did in the 3-4, we had the two-gap to guard. So a lot of the run responsibilities and underneath pass responsibilities were taken care of by the linebacker core. So and we always helped the corners in a different way. Now corners don't backpedal like they used to, which I think has hurt the evolution of corner play, to be honest. And then linebackers, everybody's kind of in a chase mode, because if you notice, linebackers have gotten shorter and smaller and lighter. And defensive ends, back when I played, the linebackers were 6'4", 240, 245, 250. So the changes are because they're adapting. The defense is forcing to adapt to the way the offenses are ran. But it's nothing truly new. It's nothing truly new, because the slot position you see that the young guys that what's his name made popular here, but he's now in Denver, right? Wes Walker. Right. But you're trying to do it. You're trying to find somebody to make that slot, that position, which is what's the kid?
Edelman?
No,
Edelman.
Patriots. Well, all that started out of Miami with Marino, when he had Nat Moore in that position, and then he had the two outside receivers who were his great receivers. But that's where that slot position was developed by Nat Moore, and so everybody just expanded off of that.
That's pretty interesting. Ed, thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, and continued success, young man.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
I stole your photo.